Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade and holding these referees to the fire.
Did Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo just call out the WNBA referees on live TV without even meaning to? What started off as normal game talk suddenly turned into something much bigger. They dropped the truth about Caitlin Clark getting fouled over and over, like it's a wrestling match out there, while the refs just stand by doing nothing. It happened fast, and if you weren't paying close attention, you probably missed it. But we didn't, so get ready, because this game broadcast just turned into something that feels more like a courtroom, and someone might be facing serious consequences.
And finally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. It's a little bit hard to see. She's literally grabbing her arm. It's insane, and none of that was called. Finally, at the end of the one play, they called the foul because it was like indisputable. I mean, she got whacked on the arm and then gets hit to the ground. But they weren't going to call any of the other fouls leading up to it. I mean, this is what Caitlin Clark...
It's not only happening to Caitlin Clark, but for some reason, it's always her, game after game. Like clockwork. Every time she takes the court, it's the same story. No calls, no whistles, just hits that look more like football than basketball. At this point, fans are actually searching online to see if the WNBA secretly changed the rules. People are asking, wait, is it legal now to knock Caitlin to the ground while she's dribbling? Because that's exactly what it looks like, and the officials just let it slide.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, because they are straightforward and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something. And I believe most of the commentators should be like that, man. Just keep it real, fam. Keep it real. Call it how you see it. And, whether the WNBA likes it or not, the commissioner likes it or not, Kathy likes it or not, speak your mind, man. That's what people want. They want the truth. So, man, shout out to Ruocco, man. Shout out to Ruocco. Shout out to Rebecca Lobo calling it like.
Let's be fair, other players get fouled too. That's part of the game. But with Caitlin Clark, it's different. There's something almost unbelievable about the way it happens. It's not just contact. It looks more like she's being roughed up on purpose. The crowd sees it. The announcers see it. Everyone reacts, except the referees, who act like nothing happened. She's getting pulled and bumped all over the court like she did something wrong, like she owes somebody money. And the officials? They look like they're watching a completely different game. Maybe water polo. Maybe dodgeball. But definitely not basketball.
New man, Ryan Ruocco, Mr. You Bet himself, and Rebecca Lobo ended up bringing up how players have been getting away with fouling Caitlin Clark live on right here. They're talking about this right here where JJ was holding the arm. Okay. Then they're talking about this moment right here too, right? She's reaching through the body, reaching both sides, both arms through the body right here. So they're talking about this one. They're talking about right here on the swat down. It looked like she hit her hand just a tad bit.
Clip 4. And here's the wild part. It's not just happening near the basket, where you'd expect physical play. That would at least make some sense. No, Caitlin is getting hit the second she touches the ball. From one end of the court to the other, the whole 94 feet, it's like she's running an obstacle course. And it's not just the defenders making it hard, her biggest challenge? The officiating. Refs that seem to ignore contact, defy common sense, and act like the laws of physics don't apply when she's on the floor.
It's crazy how Caitlin Clark does not get her foul calls pointed out when they are actually fouling her left and right, all the way from half court all the way down to the basketball hoop. I don't understand how the referees are standing there and they not call the fouls. Her coaches have complained. Even Caitlin Clark gets on the referees of not calling the fouls when she knows there's fouls.
What makes it all even more frustrating is how inconsistent the calls are. One night, a simple hand check gets called like it's a serious foul. The next, someone throws an elbow into Caitlin's ribs, and it's somehow considered good defense. You'll see a flagrant foul called for barely brushing someone's wrist, then minutes later, Caitlin gets slammed to the floor like it's professional wrestling, and the ref just stares blankly toward the scorer's table, like he just spotted a butterfly instead of a foul. It doesn't feel like officiating anymore. It feels like improv theater. Now imagine being a fan trying to introduce someone new to the league. You sit them down, talk up Caitlin Clark as one of the most talented players in the world, and then you both watch her get knocked over by 3 defenders before she even crosses half court, and no whistle. Nothing. Just silence. And meanwhile, the commentators are struggling to keep it together. Their voices crack as they try to stay professional, but it's obvious they're just as shocked as the rest of us. It feels less like a game broadcast and more like being gaslit in real time, and that's where Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo stepped in and gave fans exactly what they needed. For once, someone on the mic said what we've all been thinking. They saw Caitlin get flattened again, 3rd time in just 2 possessions, and basically said, "You're seeing this too, right?" That moment? It was everything. The disbelief in their voices spoke louder than any stat sheet. It was like group therapy with slow-motion replay.
You think the old guard, you think the old 46,000 fans had enough of a voice? No, they don't got no voice. The new fans need to speak up. The announcers who aren't scared need to speak up. I'm sure a lot of those old announcers are scared. I'm sure they're scared. But the announcers like Rebecca Lobo, Ryan Ruocco, they need to step up and say, oh, the officiating that's going on here isn't okay. You guys watch this. Quinterly grabbed Caitlin Clark's arm. Like, Caitlin, where you going? Get over here. Oh, that's interesting. Why play defense when we can just grab somebody's arm, right? Interesting. Quinterly putting her hands around Caitlin Clark's waist. Valentine's Day was a few months ago. Sorry.
Let's be real, this isn't new. It's not about one bad week or a rough stretch of games. This has been going on for seasons. It's become a full-on saga. Think Game of Thrones, but instead of dragons, it's missed calls and confused referees. And for fans who've followed the league long before Caitlin Clark turned pro, it's all too familiar. Same treatment, different player. The only difference now? Millions of people are watching it play out live, in high definition, and don't think the WNBA isn't aware. They know exactly what's going on. They've got the replays, the tracking data, the slow-motion angles. More camera views than a Hollywood action movie. This isn't some ancient mystery, it's a problem that can be solved. All it takes is clear standards. Train the refs. Hold them accountable. Maybe even plug them into reality with a headset. Or, here's a wild thought, just call the obvious fouls, because right now, the league is pushing hard for growth, exposure, and respect. They're talking about equality, visibility, and how the game is evolving. But none of that matters if fans are stuck watching their favorite player get hammered on every possession, with no whistles in sight, like showing up to a concert where the speakers are broken, and the band just keeps playing like nothing's wrong.
Foul. As she gets body checked. That's a foul. That's a foul. I mean, it's not only until right now when she's finally whacked on the arm. I'm so happy that the broadcast team finally called it out directly. And it's so insane. And I talked about this in my video where I broke down the whole game. I mean, Enrique clearly fouls her, whacks her. Caitlin Clark gets shot. I mean, just even right now, I actually kind of paused it perfectly, not even on purpose. You can see both hands on her body up against her chest. You can't play defense like that. I don't care what random person in the comment section tries to convince you otherwise. That's not defense.
You hear the shoes squeak, and then boom, Caitlin gets knocked mid-stride, right in front of a ref standing just a few feet away. But instead of blowing the whistle, the ref just blinks. Like they're trying to figure out if what they saw actually happened. Meanwhile, the broadcast zooms in as she's shoved straight into the scorer's table, like she's a piñata. The crowd groans. The announcers wince. The slow-motion replay shows it clearly, frame by frame, and still, no call. Maybe the ref had their AirPods in. Maybe they're on some kind of personal no fouls today challenge. Who knows at this point, but let's be clear, this isn't about asking for special treatment. Nobody's saying she should be wrapped in bubble wrap with a do not touch sign taped to her jersey. We're just asking for basic, consistent officiating. Call the game by the same rules for everyone. That's not outrageous. That's literally the job, because right now, it feels like watching someone try to play basketball in a haunted house. Something jumps out at her every few seconds, and the refs act like nothing happened. And what's wild is that random fans on Twitter seem to have a better grasp on what a foul looks like than the professionals in stripes. And please, don't start with the rookie treatment excuse. She's not just another player on the bench. She's Caitlin Clark. #1 pick. Face of the league. The reason half these arenas now have sold-out crowds and waiting lists, yet somehow, she's being officiated like she snuck onto the court wearing a knockoff jersey, and no one wants to acknowledge it.
Caitlin Clark does not have a special whistle in the WNBA, unlike some other players. Asia Wilson. Every time you touch Asia Wilson, she's going through the free throw line. And the announcers definitely will say she's one player that gets a lot of fouls called on her, and she goes to that free throw line. Breanna Stewart, she gets a lot of foul call. You touch her, she...
This isn't about favoritism. It's about credibility. About whether fans can trust what they're watching. Because when the rules stop making sense, the whole game starts to feel like chaos disguised as competition. You can't promote fairness and progress with one hand while letting your biggest star get knocked around like it's a schoolyard free-for-all. You have to pick a side, preferably the one where fouls are actually called, and the fact that the TV commentators had to step in and be the voice of reason? That tells you everything. When even the broadcast booth starts calling out what's happening, it means the silence from the officials is deafening. Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo didn't go off script for fun. They did it because what was happening on the court was too obvious to ignore. We're all watching the same game, except somehow, the only people who can't see what's going on are the ones with whistles in their mouths. So now, fans are on edge during every game, just waiting for the next cheap shot. It's like a twisted game within the game. Will Caitlin get knocked into a cooler this time? Will someone slap her and they get rewarded with free throws? It's a mess. A mystery box of inconsistency, all wrapped in the officials' blank stares. All anyone's asking for is fairness. Not favoritism. Not special treatment. Just consistency. If a foul is a foul for one player, it should be a foul for every player, even if that player happens to be Caitlin Clark, with a Nike deal and millions of fans, because ignoring clear fouls isn't letting them play. It's letting someone get played. And once again, we're watching a game where Caitlin spends more time on the floor than at the rim, and the refs act like it's just part of the choreography. But now, even the commentators have had enough. The fans are furious. The evidence is overwhelming. And the league has a decision to make: fix this, or keep pretending everything's fine while your most visible, marketable player gets treated like a crash test dummy on national television. Because here's the truth, it's not only happening to Caitlin. But somehow, it's always Caitlin, and we've reached a point where it no longer feels like a coincidence. It feels deliberate. Like someone in a boardroom somewhere decided to send a quiet message: let it go. Let her take the hits. It'll toughen her up. And the most revealing part? The strongest criticism isn't coming from angry fans or conspiracy theories online. It's coming from inside the broadcast, because when someone like Rebecca Lobo, calm, respected, professional, starts throwing subtle shade at the officiating while on the air, you know it's gotten bad.
So guys, today we got to talk about something, and Paige Beckers in an interview literally exposed just how bad the referee's problem is. Like, she just exposed how bad it was in a pre-game interview for the game. I couldn't find the audio part of it, but Ryan Ruocco literally said she had to forget. So basically, she had to relearn how to play defense while fouling. So, you know, everything you learn about defense, how to play while not fouling, how to move your feet, how to do all this. She had to throw out all the good defensive fundamentals that she learned. And now she had to learn to go foul.
And then there's Ryan Ruocco. You can tell he's trying to stay professional, trying to walk that line. But even he can't hide how stunned he is anymore. Every time Caitlin gets knocked to the floor and the refs stay silent, you can hear it in his voice, a pause, a stutter, maybe just a quiet or wow. That's his way of saying, I'm trying not to lose my job here, but come on. He's watching it unfold like the rest of us, watching Caitlin get hit hard, over and over, and all he can do is narrate the madness with polite disbelief. And then there's Rebecca Lobo, calm, measured, always composed. The kind of commentator who could describe a meteor hitting the court without raising her voice. But even she has had enough. She's not ranting, she's not emotional, she's just clear. Like a teacher watching the entire class fail while the principal blames the students. And in that steady, calm voice, she's calling out the problem for what it is. No drama. No yelling. Just a firm voice saying, this isn't okay. And when Rebecca Lobo says that, you know it really isn't, because this isn't just about missed calls anymore. It's about the lack of calls, and the pattern that keeps showing up whenever Caitlin Clark is on the floor. She gets bumped, shoved, even hit with shoulders and elbows, and the refs just stare into space like they're solving a deep philosophical question. It's not just inconsistent. It's intentional silence, and now, even the most trusted voices in the sport, the people who are supposed to stay neutral, are saying what fans have been shouting for months. Rebecca and Ryan aren't conspiracy theorists. They're respected professionals, and if they can't ignore what's happening anymore, neither should the league.
I don't think her importance is overstated. I think she's a singular force like we've never seen before in the women's game, in particular in the women's college game. And we've had great players. We just haven't had this mix of a player who does something we've never seen before in the women's college game in terms of the logo threes. Every time the stakes raise and it feels like, oh, geez, there's got to be a lot of pressure on this kid, a lot of pressure. She meets